Hello everybody, welcome to CJ's Card Corner. Back again with another video. Today we're going to do Pokemon Mondays. It's kind of a new thing that I'm starting where I'm going to talk specifically about Pokemon on Mondays. I think that that's a good strategy for me to kind of get the algorithm moving on certain days of the week. So today is Pokemon Day, my first Pokemon Day, and we're going to talk a little bit about investing. And some of the strategies that I employ, and some of the different ways you can invest in Pokemon as a whole. Because my last video talked a little bit about Pokemon investing, but it didn't talk in the specifics. So this video is going to focus purely on Pokemon and exactly what I think is maybe some of the best methods and where you can maybe make some money long term. So let's get started. So the place that I like to start to make it easy is to describe the different ways that you can invest in Pokemon. And I think the different ways are: you have your sealed product, you have your singles, you have grading those singles or grading in general, and then you ultimately have all of the above, right? You can collect all of those things and then invest in those things. So let's start with the one that I employ. About 95% of my collection for Pokemon is in sealed product. Sealed product to me is the easiest form of investing with Pokemon. And I think that it works best for my strategy, where I can go to the store or go to TCG Player and buy a sealed booster box or ETB or Pokemon Center ETB directly from Pokemon Center. And then it just sits on my shelf and it looks nice and it tends to appreciate in value over time. And the reason I specifically lean on sealed is a lot of different reasons, but the main reason for me, and a couple of the other YouTubers talk about this all the time, please go check out their channels. I'll link a few of them down below in the description. But some of the ones that talk about this, they talk about how sealed product will eventually stop being printed. They have what's called print cycles, and those print cycles, once they end and that set is out of print, there will be no more booster boxes, there will be no more ETBs, no more sealed packs. There's just a limited supply at that point. And that's with any TCG, CCG from back in the 90s, it's with anything, right? Eventually the sealed product stops being printed because the company goes bankrupt, or in this case, they move on to other sets so that they can continue to print paper and make money and do all those things for their investors. And eventually, the sealed product runs out. So what you're looking at is a market that's finite. And once those boxes start not showing up on third-party sites or being available, we're looking at the product going up in price because there's more demand. And since Pokemon has been in demand for 30 years, we're talking about a really difficult product to get your hands on if it's a popular set. Take, for example, Evolving Skies. Evolving Skies blew up with that Umbreon, right? Or the Moonbreon, as everybody calls it. And that card has skyrocketed in value along with a whole bunch of the cards in the set, but the sealed product really went, right along with it. And the sealed product gets more and more expensive all the time because people want to open it, they want to have sealed in their collection, they're investing in it, and there's less and less of it out there because it's no longer being printed. So sealed product is one of those things that you just have to look at and say, okay, this set went up, this set went up, this set went up. You tend to not lose when it comes to sealed product. Now, everybody's got their own opinion, and I'm not trying to step on people's toes here. This is just my opinion. It's not investment advice. But when it comes to sealed product in general, I believe in that item. I buy sets I like, I buy sets I believe in. I'm a big Destined Rivals fan. I bought a lot of sealed cases of that and sealed booster boxes, and I think that it's going to be valuable. It's already on the up and up. It's close to $600 a box now. I highly recommend getting in on sealed when you can. I'm a father of two, and I have a normal 8 to 5 job. So what I can tell you is Like, I'm not putting all my money into sealed Pokemon product. It's just something I do on the side for fun. It's an investment opportunity for my future and hopefully for my boys' futures. And sealed product is my way to go. Now, if you're not into sealed and you really like the artwork, or you believe in certain Pokemon like Charizard or Pikachu, like your standards, or maybe you're a Wooper fan, there's a lot of options, and Pokemon is unlimited. There are so many Pokemon to choose from. So cards are really great too. You can speculate on cards. There are tons of people that buy just your standard Charizard EX or base Pikachu, and they just collect and collect and collect. And there's so many options to choose from. So with card investing, you have to choose if you're going to do your long-term or your short-term investments and how much money you want to spend, right? So if you're doing short-term investments, you're buying a card that you think is going to go up in the next year or two. And your plan is to, in essence, invest in it now, and then when it hits a certain point, sell it. Now, that some people think that's flipping. I personally think it's a short-term investment, but, you know, tomato, tomato, right? So I think that if you are planning to invest short-term, that's great. It's a great option. I do that sometimes with some of the bigger Pokemon that I like Charizard, where I think the big card from the set is going to go up over the course of the next 6 months to a year, and then I flip it. I sell it. The other option is to do long-term investments. So as an example, one of the long-term investments I'm currently in is a Charizard EX from 151. It's one of my favorite artworks. It's super underperforming in my opinion compared to the other top tier sets main chases. It was up for a while and then it went back down, and now it's back down again at about 270 or so. So there's a lot of room to grow on those cards from where they were at their height last year. And I think that you can make some money when it comes to that, either short-term or long-term. Personally, I'm a long-term guy. I keep them in a box, hopefully eventually on a shelf behind me here. But there's a lot of options with singles, and the market can fluctuate so much with singles. And if you go on TCG, you could buy all of the cards under 300, and then your Charizard would instantly be worth more than it was, because TCG's market is so volatile that one individual can affect the market for a short period of time. Now, that's not always the case, but it's a great option for you if you want to get in and maybe make a little bit of money right away. You never know. You might start a buying avalanche and a whole bunch of people will buy the card and in a panic, right? Because they think, oh, I can't get one. I got to get one now. So cards there's a lot of personal feelings around cards where people marry their cards. They get into them and they're like, oh, I have to have this card. I'm going to wait though because it's going to go down. Well, what if it never does? Now they have to buy at the higher price when maybe you've bought it out, and now you've set the new price. And a lot of individuals can affect the market in that way. And investing, people know that, and they go out and they buy a bunch of them, and then now your card has gone up in value, and then you can either short-term flip or hold it for long-term. So that's cards. Now let's talk a little bit about grading. Grading is unique in that you can do grading in so many ways too. You can grade on your own, meaning you can buy a card, send it off to PSA or Beckett or Tag or CGC and have it graded yourself, which then inherently increases the value because it's protected in a slab. You paid $27 now for PSA to have it graded, and then you get it back. If it's a 10, it tends to be more valuable. If it's a 9, it's a little bit cheaper or right around raw value, which I personally think that's going to shift at some point where 9s are going to be valuable again because you do have to pay for the cost of grading. So I don't think a PSA 9 should be the same value as a raw card, but that's just my opinion. I don't mind buying 9s. Most of my cards are 9s because, for one, again, I can't really afford to buy some of the higher end cards in 10s, so I tend to lean on 9s, and I think the market will eventually correct on that, or at least I hope so. But either way, the card itself is still valuable, and I'll buy it graded myself. Now, you can grade them yourself, or you can buy them already graded, which is what I do. I do send a few to grading here and there, but I have pretty bad luck because I can't tell the difference between a 9, an 8, or a 10. So I'm really careful about what I send out, and most of the stuff I send out is stuff for me. or stuff that I want to keep, and not necessarily something that I'm like, oh, this has to get a 10 or I'm in a lot of trouble because I invested all this money and I think it's a 10. So that's, again, a way you can invest if you wish, but that's a little, again, volatile, right? Sending them off for grading, it depends where you send it. That person that's grading your card at PSA, maybe they're having a bad day, which, you know, people talk about that all the time. I'm a big PSA fan. I think PSA does a really great job with cards, and for the most part, I'm usually happy with what I get back. And not everybody feels that way, but if I'm going to grade, I'm going to grade with PSA. In my opinion, they're the best. Neither here nor there, obviously, but you can decide what's best for you. So let's recap a little bit. So you have three main options to invest in. You have your sealed product, your singles, and your grading. Now there are more ways to invest in Pokemon. That you can master set. You can. We could go on and on and on for days, but those are the three that I'm focusing on today, and these are the ones that I'll probably be focusing on in the future. When I do future videos, my main focus is probably going to be on sealed product because that's what I'm really into. That's what I'm excited about. Not to say we won't talk about regular, singles and the market on certain singles over time, but my main driving force for doing Pokemon on this channel is going to be around sealed product. So I'd love to hear what you're investing in, what you're excited about, and I'd love to hear your comments, things I maybe could do different, or things or topics that you want to hear about. I'd love to talk about just about anything. So I look forward to your comments. Please like and subscribe, share the video, and if you have any questions, reach out to me. Thanks a lot for your time, and I'll hit you in the next one.